Bearcat Bounce Podcast. Back at it again. It's Tuesday. It is Papers Wrestling Tuesday. It is not Monday. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday following a rainy, scary Monday, which resulted in not one, but two of the BBP faithfuls places, locations, getting a little bit out of power, if you will. More on that here in a few. It's also a Tuesday following the first ever Big 12 Media Day for the football program in year one of the Big 12 and year one of Coach Scott Satterfield era. It's also a Tuesday following a Rucker Park meetup for the basketball team, as well as a little Twitter, not talking Twitter, we're talking birdies event with the TBT. It's a Tuesday before the TBT game coming up this Friday. And it's also Tuesday. I welcome in my guys, my pals, all of us together again. Lights on. Lights are on. That's right. Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer. Gentlemen, happy Tuesday. How are we?
Couldn't be better. Couldn't possibly be better. How about you guys?
Doing great.
All right, Aaron, you tell your story first. Go ahead.
I was just excited Power was on this morning. I mean, I showed you guys the pictures of what the yard looked like. We had a pergola blow over. We lost the I don't know how the glass ended up getting lifted up off the table out on the back porch, but it's still intact somehow after the umbrella got lifted out of it. We had a limb that fell on a power line, and we were back this morning at 8:30, so 12 hours, 13 hours. I'll take that over what it's been in the past. So
Mother Nature. Mine was similar. I mean, first off, Sunday, I had the Sunday scaries up to like here, and it only got worse when we're nestled in watching a movie. All of a sudden, power goes out Sunday night. All of a sudden, Monday rolls in, work obviously. Then Monday night, power poof off. But I'm a guy who's dedicated. I hopped in the car, put the dog in the car, girlfriend in the car, drove all the way down to Southern Indiana to do the podcast live from my girlfriend's parents' house. And the funny thing is, after we rescheduled it, we stopped. We said let's get some food, and then all of a sudden, get an email from the power place. Power's back on at like 8:15. So we just turned right back around, didn't even make it to the house, and got back, and power was on, and we are here. We're rocking and we're rolling. But how is the weather going through Cincy right now? I saw it looks like it's a torrential downpour.
I mean, it was raining so bad I thought I was going to have to pull off like under an underpass when I was coming through downtown. It was wet.
My roommates were about to walk out the door to go to the Reds game, and then I walked into my room to go get something. I came back and it was pouring. I'm like, "You guys still going?" They're like, "No." So my roommate decided to put some pork in the oven right now, and he opens the oven, and every time he opens it, it kicks on the smoke alarm. So we'll see how this pork turns out.
Oh, God.
So I'm going to try to stay muted just in case we got some pork alerts coming on.
Just in case the fire department's at your house.
I know. I almost burned down the house too, man. We got some activities going on in the kitchen right now.
Dude, that's the thing. Back in the day, same thing with me. Even if you put in like pizza rolls or a frozen pizza, that damn alarm's going to go off no matter what. You just
Clean the bottom of your oven.
Well, that's what we figured out. We were like 21 years old and drunk all the time, so we didn't know that until a little Google helped us out, and we were able to figure it out.
Thanks to Tonk already with a $2 donation. Shout out to Brent's hat. 108 in Dallas today, Sunbrain.
Tonk, Brett's.
He corrected it further down already.
Here we go, Tonk. Thanks, Tonk. From everyone go buy it. It's my boy Ted Karras, his foundation. Cool little hat, cool little thing he's got going over there. But yeah, I mean, shoot, that was a weekend, guys. Always got to ask that. Nice and chill, little summer weekend.
Yeah, the kid was at a friend's a good portion of the weekend, so hung out, made some Cajun andouille sausage and chicken pasta. That was delightful.
Okay.
That sounds good.
That
You
sounds
save
really
any
good.
for me, man?
I mean, you want some? It's over here. There's still a little extra.
There you go. Mine was good. Went to the Reds game on Saturday.
Oh,
Wasn't that eventful?
You're a big Reds game guy.
Yeah, excuse me, sorry. I live like 10-minute walk from the ballpark, so
it's easy.
anytime it's a big series or like a nice night, we'll go on over there. So me and the girl went over there. That place was ready to explode, but they only had one hit. Like, because I went to the Braves series when they sold out on that first Friday game, and I was like, I've never seen it like this, but it was just like that. But everyone had way more energy. It was loud as hell. There's just nothing to cheer for, so everyone got burnt out by the 6th inning, and then you had the hour-long delay too. But that was a good weekend, though. Did a little hopping around the town and went home, saw my mom for her birthday. So
There you go.
Can't complain.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, moms.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Debbie Royer. The best.
Debbie.
The best mom ever.
Debbie Royer. Some
Debbie.
good Italian grub on that birthday
Debbie,
dinner.
the things you have put up with, Deborah, we commend you. You're a hero.
She has. I mean, you guys never met my brother. You heard a couple stories. I think he's worse than me, but putting up with us two alone. My sister's an angel, though, so she got lucky.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah, exactly.
She
baked her a cake. Oh, she like turned into some damn baker at some point. Like I came home and she brings this cake out of the refrigerator, and I'm like, she opens it and it looked like it was made at like Giant Eagle or Kroger Bakery. I was like, when did you go get that? She's like, I made it. I was like, no, you didn't. She's like, I swear to God. Like had all like the fancy writing. She like did like flour icing things.
Oh.
And it tasted amazing. So shit. I mean, she's doing something right in the oven.
There we go. Baker, candlestick maker. Aaron, how are we?
Well, we already did that part, but
Yeah, how was the weekend, man?
It was Brennix's birthday.
Hey.
So my little girl is 1.
Happy birthday, Brennix. Wait, Deborah and Brennix same day birthday, or?
It was Saturday, the 16th.
Okay. So,
and we're gonna do our celebration this upcoming weekend. So, because kids had baseball.
The old baseball. The old round ball. Yeah, I mean that series, Royer, the Red series was probably the most frustrating series of the year so far, up to this point. So who knows? And now,
didn't follow it up good with today with the two inning game. So.
Oh yeah, looking great. Encarnacion Strand already on the bench for game 2. Just spectacular. But you know what? Different combo for different stories. So that's talking Reds and talking shop here on BVP. But a lot of rain going on out there. You got to dodge the puddles. I almost drove into looked like a river driving through one of the going down south yesterday. But luckily dodged that. But if you do drive through it and something happens to your car, where you can go. Our boy Danco Joe in the chat already. Stay dry, gents. We're trying, Joe. But if something does happen to your car, just head over to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Get it fixed up. Joe will hook you up. Mention the BBP. Mention Chad, Aaron, Royer, Debbie, Brannix, anyone. Get yourself a little fixing. 10% off your next service or $10 off your next oil change. Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Thank you, Danco Joe. You know what? I think we got to go straight into it because obviously a little tea leaves on the old blue Twitter sphere earlier tonight. And of course, that's probably what a lot of the fans want to hear. That's right. None other than our very own, the guy, the boss, the GOAT, Mr. Chad Brendel, was able to take in a nice little open gym, or I guess we could call it that. The TBT is in town. They play this Friday at 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus at that place in Norwood. It gets the team money, Team TMT, Floyd Money Mayweather. No Jimmer Fredette this year for them, but they do have a couple Houston alums, Corey Davis, Devin Davis. Got Jordan Crawford. Some of you might know him from the Smith League, Bowling Green, Cincy guy. Devin Booker, Trevor Booker, NBA player. So it's going to be a tough first round matchup. You can catch that 6 p.m. ESPN Plus, of course, as mentioned. But like they were last year, they were in town checking out how this year's upcoming Bearcat squad looks, going up against them, a couple little open gym run, getting their legs underneath them. Chad, you were there, so let's just start off with you setting the scene. Tell us everything. Who was there? How was it?
This is the third year that this has happened. Only the second year for TBT, but 3 years ago, all these guys all came in the summer. No, Devin Booker's not playing in TBT. He's not allowed.
No,
you're not allowed to be in the NBA.
Not that Devin Booker. No. It's
so
brother of Trevor Booker.
Pretty cool scene now that these guys are starting to have some familiarity and getting to know each other and kind of bridging generations of Bearcat basketball. Not as much. It wasn't as chatty this year. Last year was pretty edgy. Like last year, they were getting after each other. This year was a little more cordial, I guess would be a good way to put it. And I think the problem was last year, if I remember correctly, the current team beat the old guys in every game,
right? And
the old guys weren't real happy with it. So there's a lot more talking. Today was a lot more. It was competitive. It was aggressive, but wasn't as mouthy. So it was good. It was fun to watch. You get to see, there were 5 teams. So you have 2 courts going at the same time, and then one team off, and then the winners of the 2 courts play, and the team that's off comes in. Whole lot of Bearcats in the gym. So it's always good that that's a group of guys, that I got to know extremely well from being around as much as I was around in that era. So always good to get all them back in the gym. I know Keegan is working on a story that he got being there today about some of these guys starting to get into being a head coach and coaching at the high school level, Cash and Kevin Johnson and Kane Broom. So look for that here coming up soon. But it was a good scene. It's a lot of games, a lot of good basketball. So it was a fun day in the gym.
Aaron was able to make it last year, I believe, correctly. So I'm excited for him to pepper you with some good questions. But I guess I'm going to start off with asking, so how were the teams split up? Was it kind of the TBT with themselves, and then the new team kind of breaking up their own teams? Yeah,
essentially 2 TBT teams. The one was it had, so Jake isn't in town yet. I think Jake gets to town tonight. But on one team you had Troy, you had Jaron, and you had Trey Scott, and that's pretty good. It's pretty
not a bad team.
And then I think on that team they also had Day, Deshaun Mormon. Sorry, can't say Day now because there's
I was gonna say,
and there was one more. Can't remember. Anyhow, but then you split up into 3 teams of the current team, and pretty competitive. The team that ended up winning the last game, the quote unquote championship game, was Landers, who played with the returning guys. Okay. Oh damn it! Now my brain's not working. Landers, Dan, Seamus, CJ Frederick, and Aziz was the So they won the championship, that group.
That is a big squad. Seamus kind of running the de facto point on that, or
Landers had the ball in his hands a lot. Seamus had the ball in his hands a lot. So those two kind of, were kind of sharing those responsibilities. Seamus hit a couple big threes to kind of give. It was 5-5, and he hit threes on back-to-back trips, and that kind of stretched it out. I think they played to 12 in the last game. So yeah, it was good to see Landers. He's hopeful. They're working towards. He's hopeful on a 2-way contract with New Orleans, where he played for the summer league. So it's good to catch up with him.
Yep.
And I really like how Seamus plays. Aziz kind of murdered Mamadou, and he just hammered on him. And then
that's becoming a theme for Mamadou.
Yeah. Well, he defended the
Ravon
one. He said he was off to the side. He didn't really jump with him, but the camera angle, he blamed the biased media. That the camera angle made him look bad on that Ravon dunk. He said, I was off to the side. Just gave him one of these in passing, and it made it look like I got dunked on. And then Aziz dunked on him, and I was like, that time you got dunked on. Aziz had a couple blocks, really, really good rebounder. As advertised, I thought Jamil was good. Day was probably the guy that stood out to me the most. Banged a couple threes and did a good job getting to the rim. He was active and aggressive defensively. Josh Reed made some good plays. Sage got a bad matchup for most of the day. He ended up on Trey Scott like almost every time down the floor. And Sage out on the perimeter trying to guard Trey Scott was he wasn't ready for that. That was not something, and then trying to keep up with him because Trey and Troy have great chemistry, especially in the open court.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were just trying to push.
Right.
And I think he hit him for 4 or 5 just easy dunks in transition that Sage just couldn't keep up with him. So overall, he wasn't bad. He just that's not going to be a fun assignment for a redshirt freshman 7-footer.
No.
To try to keep up with Trey Scott. It was like, who? So I was like, man, why you gotta do the young kid like that? He was like, I didn't put him on me. I didn't ask him to guard me. I just saw him in front of me and went to work.
So, Aaron, you were there last year.
Last year was heated, wasn't it, Aaron?
I wasn't there last year. I was there
was
2
it 2 years ago?
I was there 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago? Okay.
Before that was when the discussions of this team started.
When I started the discussions of the
right.
TBT and then just started one without me. Whatever. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
You win some, you lose some.
There you go.
I'm actually
as if you'd want to be in charge. I was going to say, as if you want to actually be in charge of collecting donations and setting up fundraisers and events and all this. Nah. But no, it's good to see the guys back at the gym. Cool to see Landers. I mean, Landers has, he could have gone back to Memphis in the offseason, but he didn't. He came back to Cincinnati.
He just got done with Summer League, 2 days ago. So
22 in the finale.
Yeah,
I think that says something about the program, though, that he only spent 1 year here and he's back spending his free time there, much like Sauce did when he was drafted in the NFL, went back to Cincinnati, just where he likes to be, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I feel bad from Chad's assessment on Sage. You don't want to be Trey Scott, man. Outside of that, though, I don't have a ton to offer up. I mean, I just saw 4 games going on at once, and I asked Chad while I was there a couple of years ago. I have no idea how he does the AAU events because I wouldn't be able to. My ADD would not be able to handle watching 4 games at the same time.
But you
usually try to keep it to 2. Like you can watch 2 games at the same time. When it gets to 3 or 4, no, I don't think Landers can play in the TBT if he's under contract. So, or if he's gonna be under contract, the Horn or the Pelicans or whatever the hell they're called.
You also wouldn't want to risk injury if you're potentially.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to want a guy that that they've got under, they're about to be under contract in the TV team. I did not get that. Did not seem like a possibility from what I heard. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know. Maybe they're looking to surprise some people Friday with Chez out there.
I mean, that would be nice.
Knocked down 22 a couple nights ago. So
yeah. Well, because I mean, if you remember last year, it was supposed to be that guard from UNC Greensboro. Escaping my memory right now, but yeah, he was supposed to be joining, but his final summer league game interfered with that. He didn't get back in time, or else he was going to play. So who knows? Would be awesome to add him to the squad. Just another long guy out there getting some reps. And I mean, if he's playing in the Smith League like he did the other night, I imagine it.
Yeah, but they always play in those. NBA guys play in those.
Right.
Summer league deals.
Yeah. So who knows? But that'd be fun. But Aaron, you being there in attendance, what would be a question that you would ask Chad of something that you possibly saw, whether it be a player in particular wise or kind of
what I saw.
Just I was gonna say, like I would have been more interested in who had the best dunk or the trash talk. But if there wasn't a ton of trash talk,
Aziz by a mile. I mean, Troy was still talking. Troy doesn't ever stop talking.
Well, I was going to ask if there was still any residual carryover from Landers and Troy from last year.
No, they didn't go back after each other this year. I think they were actually talking about summer league, and
I was going to say game respects game at this point, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, they had their introduction. They went after each other, and Landers was trying to come into town and assert himself as the alpha, if you will. And Troy just happened to be the guy in the gym that talks the loudest.
There we go.
Always.
No surprise there.
Right.
So aside from the Aziz dunk on Mamadou, which is hopefully something that we will all see numerous times this upcoming season if all things go our way. Any like plays in particular that also kind of popped off the page a little bit, just obviously just taking in.
Not really. I mean, Day had some nice takes, good finishes at the rim, some really good passing. But that's when you add CJ Frederick and Seamoss to your team,
right?
You're going to up your ability to pass. So. But it's open gym. So there's going to be a lot of run outs. There's going to be a lot more up and down fast breaking than you see in a normal game. Mm-hmm. But a lot of transition. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of settling into the half court. Ed, if you were here on time, you would know I said that Jacob is traveling. So supposed to get into town, I think, tonight.
That's correct, Ed. That is correct. Chad did mention that.
I did.
Yes, you did.
We even started late to give Ed extra time to get in here.
Yeah.
But, you can't win them all, Ed. It's okay.
Wasn't even on time for the late appearance. Jamil Reynolds, how's he looking? Obviously, the main thing that he's been trying to work on is just continuing to cut down his body. He
looks great. He moved well, blocked a couple shots. It's not, there's not a lot of post-up offense.
Right.
In situations like that. So I thought he rebounded well. I thought he moved pretty well laterally for a guy that's, as big as he is. Mm-hmm. He had a block on a guard where he came off his guy and picked up, I think it was Kane going to the rim.
Okay.
And got a hand on it. So you're not the worst, Ed. You just weren't here on time. Do better. That's all.
He said worse, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Meaning he's not in last place. It's just worse than someone else.
No, he is.
No, Jamil looked good, but mm-hmm. It's hard to get a real sense on big guys outside of dump offs and stuff like that. So, but he looked good.
Yeah. I guess two wings that would then flourish in the open gym type setting would be Rayvon and Dan. I feel like, yeah, go ahead.
Dan shot it well, hit a couple threes, got to the rim a couple times. Rayvon had a dunk in transition, hit a three. Didn't see the ball a ton.
Right.
In the stuff I was watching. So it is difficult with multiple games going on where your eyes get caught over here and then you look over there and somebody scored and you're like, well, shit, I missed that one. So, but no, they both look good.
On that championship game itself, though, was that kind of the Seamus and Dan and just everyone chipping in? Aziz?
It was mostly
running?
Seamus and Landers.
Okay.
Aziz chipped in a little bit. I think he had a putback. Had a transition dunk. But a lot of outside shooting, as is normally the case in these open gym runs. So, like I said, Seamus hit the two biggest shots of the day, taking it from 5-5 to 9-5. And then they kind of coasted to the finish line from there.
You know, it's funny. Seamus playing in that event up in Toronto. He
and he just got back last night at like 10 o'clock. They were expecting him, and then they had a pro camps deal today, so they were doing an NIL camp this morning. So the team's been kind of running around all day today. So it's good to see him, look sharp like that, especially a lot of travel and then a busy morning and then getting back after it tonight.
Beautiful.
How did Vic look against the other bigs?
Didn't do a ton. He did hit a really nice corner three where he kind of flared out as the action came to the strong side, flared out to the three, caught in rhythm, had a nice release and hit nothing but the bottom of the net on a corner three. And then had a block or two, but open gym with bigs, it just doesn't, unless it's running the floor and getting a dunk.
I was just thinking with the others pretty much being rim protectors. I was just curious if he did anything against anybody, but
they just don't throw the ball inside. Like, so that makes it difficult for the big guys to really excel.
But the bigs are out there. Trey Scott, baby, the missing key on last year's TBT team. Reed Culver asked if there were more players on the TBT team that are kind of the quote unquote randoms. On the website,
one.
Go ahead.
He played last year. I can't remember his name. He played last year.
Marquez Letcher Ellis.
Yeah, that's him
from Rice. It's funny because they kind of updated the entire team, and Mamadou's now added on it. Keith wasn't there yesterday. I mean, tonight either. It didn't look like. Any word if he's going to play, or didn't hear about that?
I didn't hear anybody say anything about Keith.
Right.
Maybe I'll text Kevin and get an answer while we're live here on the pod.
Looks like they are lacking a big man. Coriante. Corey was there tonight, wasn't he?
He wasn't there tonight, but he's going to play.
Okay. And
he's got a little one and lives in town. So
yeah,
sometimes you gotta be daddy.
Do they have any other practices scheduled for this week before the game on Friday?
I think they're going to practice Thursday. I think they're doing something tomorrow, but then I know they're going to practice Thursday. And then Friday night.
Baby.
I just know they had made an emphasis on wanting to be more organized, and at least a couple. I think Troy was mentioning it when he was on with us that he wanted to make sure that they had some practices in. And
no, they practiced today, but then it gets hard, like trying to get everybody in town and get everything figured out. It's a pain.
That dude Troy, man. I was saying it off camera, but in the era of short shorts, you look at your picture, Chad. Troy's still rocking those below the kneecap shorts, man.
He said those are from a showcase event he played as a junior in high school.
Okay.
So those would have been like 2011, 2012, 2013, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
when he would have got those shorts and was rocking them tonight.
God, gotta love Troy, man.
Yep. Almost all the way down to the socks.
Yes, just rocking it. So if they do beat Team Money team, then a potential TBT version of the Crosstown Shootout on Saturday night at 8 p.m. would be quite the interesting battle. So big shouts to the Nasty Natty. Gotta hope they come out there and just do what they can to pull. It's funny, they were showing highlights, and I forgot about how in last year's game at the end of the third quarter, Jake hit that 3/4 court shot to take the team up by 3 heading into the final quarter. But
then they were up by 10 or 11 in the final quarter,
and
let it get away at the end.
Oh, man, to a very interesting team that they lost to last year, but that's a different story for a different time. New year this year, and all hopes are up. Just 2 other names, Chad, just if they had any notable plays or whatnot, Jizzle and Josh Reed. We kind of touched on pretty much everyone else outside of that.
Josh had a couple plays, hit a 3, drove to the rim and scored, got fouled a couple times. So I thought Josh played pretty well, and then Jizzle was okay. Didn't turn it over or do anything crazy, but didn't really shoot a whole ton. Okay. Was just kind of running the show for his team. So
now, I
don't think Dave is in town, Reed. So
who? Oh, DJ.
Yeah.
I imagine. Did Newman, was he out there running, or
he did not play today? He was there, but didn't play. Or
yeah.
Cash didn't play. Newman didn't play.
Odie was out there.
Was Cash wearing those? Cash wearing those original Jordans again?
I don't pay attention to what shoes guys have on.
He was wearing some pretty beat up ones when he played in the TBT, the first go round that they did this back in Bearcat Jam. There were some busted ass shoes.
But Odie was out there looking like
Odie played well, rebounded, ran the floor. Yeah.
There we go. Royer, is that a milkshake?
Protein shake, couple bananas, and protein powder.
Damn idol right there, man.
After his dinner of boiled eggs.
We did some chicken and rice tonight.
God damn,
nice and easy.
We're doing salmon and rice over here, so
okay.
Trying to catch up to you a little bit, brother. But yeah, so overall a good event. Everyone came out healthy. It was a thrilling thing for this upcoming Friday.
Yeah, it's a good run. It's a good little, I don't know, probably 50 minutes or so of the guys running. The hard part, too, is like the games, they go to 7-by-1s. So they're over.
Damn, that quick?
Yeah. So nobody really ever gets in a major
heater or anything.
Flow. Yeah. So it's, it's just
ones and twos,
fun to, 1s and 2s.
Damn. So those games could be over just like that.
Yeah. And then the championship game, they went to 12.
Okay. 12 is also an interesting number. I normally pick 11, but oh well.
I didn't make. I just sat there and watched. They didn't ask for my opinion on the rules. I didn't have
even if you'd given it, I'm not sure they'd have listened.
Well, I wouldn't have given it unless they asked.
They should have listened. Should have
asked. Brent says 11. It's only supposed to go to 11, guys.
Yeah, what are we doing? 12. What is this 12 nonsense? 11. Win by 2. Come on. Or take it all the way up to 21. But yeah. I remember last year your comments were David DeJulius looking like a beast. And as we saw, especially opening up the season, he was every much a part of being that beast. So excited to see what all these different names. It's so interesting too, because obviously Dave was a known commodity. This year it's just a lot of unknowns. So Aziz Duncan, everyone, it seemed like they were kind of buddies. The teams really connected, this, that, and the other. The extracurriculars, then not just based on what's out there on the court.
Yeah, I mean, they all seem to get along really well. But I mean, again, how much can you? It's an open gym. Everybody just shows up, puts their shoes
You
on.
can give us as much as we want because
Plays
I
open
guarantee you
gym.
this is what all the fans are like chomping
I
at the
know,
bit.
but I can't judge like what their off court camaraderie was. They just showed up, put their shoes on, and played open gym.
Right.
And then afterwards, they had pizza.
Ooh.
Well, Adriatico's action.
Yeah, ooh. Funded by Trey Scott off the Summer League.
Probably not. No.
Only the best.
Funded by the basketball program.
Ah, okay. NIL kicking in nice. Anything more on that, Chad? Or ready to rock and roll? All right. Well, speaking on funded, if we want to just keep rolling with basketball, yeah. What toppings, Ed? I agree. Was a lot of pepperoni, a little supreme, a little meat lovers.
Pepperoni and cheese.
There you go, Ed. Nice and simple to appease everyone.
Is Cash still coaching at Clark Montessori? Yes, he's the head coach there.
The speaking of funding, if you guys were offered Whispering Angel Rosé, Vulcan Tequila Blanco, watermelon, orge, and ginger lime served frozen, are you going to pay $22 for that and
No
enjoy
chance.
it?
What the hell is that?
That was the Bearcat Blanco, which was offered last night at the Rucker Park event at the Hard Rock Hotels. One of the famous cocktails that they had going on. The Cosmopolitan BYU, the Hypno Spritz, Big 12 in the city, Pistol Peach
I
Punch.
might rip that Bearcat Blanco. I'm a sucker for tequila, but
Dog, it doesn't sound bad.
I'm not a huge cocktail guy.
For $22 though?
Hey,
Hey
man.
man, you're that.
It's New York City.
You got
New
it.
York City.
Yeah,
Oh, that's easy.
that's just what a drink costs in New York City.
Oh, Thrifty Walrus, 100% I mispronounced at least one or two. Orgeat, maybe. Orge. But yeah, the Lubbock Cactus Fleur, the Emma Spa, Bearcat Blanco. So that was the Bearcat drink of choice last night. I don't think I would have ordered it. Probably would have stuck with the dirty martinis, heading right into the espresso martinis before the night ends and take it to the after party. But Chad, Aaron, Ryan, the Rucker Park event. Chad, it looked like it was nice. Good amount of coaches there. Men and women.
Show up. They work with kids.
Yeah.
Do like a little basketball camp, picture photo opportunities, and then call it a day.
I think the main part of it is the Big 12 trying to put their footprint there in the New York area as well.
Sure, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
They had a camp at Rucker Park for 4 hours. Like, it not like anybody in New York is going to all of a sudden be like, you know what?
Well, but they had a dinner the night before.
I'm gonna start watching some more Big 12 basketball. Like
Right.
it wasn't my thing before, but now they did this, so I'm in. I'm in on the Big 12.
Yormark's got connections out there. I mean, it just seems like it's could be just a potential lure into more upcoming out there. But yeah, it looked like for the most part. Yeah.
Do you think this is something they expand on though in the years to come, where they bring players out to potentially give an NIL deal too for being out and running a game or like some type of scrimmage or something like that? No.
I don't think coaches would let that happen. And there's too many layers of bullshit from the NCAA that you'd have to jump through to get players approved to do something like that at Rucker. I mean, the conference just wouldn't be able to.
Well, I mean, I guess not even a game, not even necessarily a game, but something like what UC hosted a couple of years ago when they did the Cincinnati basketball experience or whatever it was.
Yeah, but UC wasn't allowed to have anything to do with that. Like, Wes wasn't even allowed to like walk out onto the floor.
Okay.
So like, if they were to do something like that,
no coaches.
It would have to be an
12.
independent event that didn't have any Big 12 like branding or whatever
affiliation. Yeah, it's stupid.
That's just how NIL is worded and works.
You know what would be fun though? Kind of like how they play the games on the aircraft carriers would be a little showcase there at Rucker Park.
I don't think Rucker Park is big. I don't think the court's big enough.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a college-sized court.
Yeah, pictures do
But I
make
don't
it.
know that you could.
Yeah, would be fun though. Golly, that would be fun. But yeah, it looked like it was. Saw Drew there. I saw Tang there. Handful of coaches, obviously, but Meriwether and West both there. Obviously, West rocking Jays both nights, looking nice out there, representing the C, baby. Just see what you can do. But yeah, that's where West was. As everyone else was here, Chad was able to take in that. As we mentioned, TBT game this weekend, but that is the current squad and the past squad. Now a quick look at the future squad when it comes to basketball, and the recruiting news of the week, if you will, would be that famed Bearcat target, once Bearcat crystal ball recipient, Floyd Badunga, did cut his list. No, it was not you. Cut his list down to 4 schools: Auburn, Duke, Kansas, Michigan. Those are the 4 schools, and now that is the opening and shutting of the book of the Floyd Badunga to the Cincinnati Bearcats squad. Aaron, your thoughts when you saw the 4 teams listed for old Flory?
I guess I wasn't super surprised, especially after he took that official to Duke. I thought that things weren't trending in the Bearcats' way for a little while now, as he had made his official to Cincinnati. And then there was the whole, is he going to reclassify? Is he not going to reclassify? Is he going to stay and be the king of Coke?
Cincinnati.
It was unofficial, sorry.
Yeah.
But is he going to stay and be the king of Kokomo? Nobody knows. Is he going to go G League? What's this kid going to do? I thought there were way too many questions and not enough answers. And when you don't have a ton of answers that are pointing towards Cincinnati, especially regarding a kid who's going to be ranked as high as he's going to be ranked, I was not putting a ton of energy into keeping up for the last, 2-3 months at this point.
It was fun while it lasted. I mean, all signs were pointing to Clifton for quite a while. But Chad, from what you can tell us or what you're willing to share, what do you have
that was created by fans.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it helped that they had Drew Adams, but if you go back and look at the day they hired Drew Adams, I said this does not guarantee that they're going to get Flory. This is a move that can help them with that, and I think ultimately it hurt them because I think the kid kind of resented that everybody, when Drew was hired, just said, oh, well, he's going to Cincinnati. Like, he's going wherever Drew is going to go. And I think it worked against them in the long run because kids don't like, at that level.
Being told what to do.
Well, no, they don't like everybody thinking like, I know what you're going to do, even though you don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
And that's what I expressed to people. It's like, this kid is still going through the process. Like, he hadn't even entered into a place where, they were even close to the decision-making process. And he had everybody telling him, you're going to go to Cincinnati, or, everybody's saying you're going to go to Cincinnati. I just think it worked against him in that realm. As he got to that point where he did start looking at it's time to narrow things down and make a decision. Sometimes kids want to say, look, I'm the boss of me. Like, the people that think they know where I'm going don't know a damn thing.
Yeah. Royer, I know this was what another high level 5-star that Bearcats were at least in the mix for. So I don't know, kind of your point of view on the open and shut of the old Flory recruitment.
Oh, I thought I was muted. Sorry. I mean, it was kind of like you kind of felt like the recruiting momentum with everything we had with the transfers we were picking up and some of the other guys that we thought we had a shot with. You felt like this might be the icing on the cake where everything kind of went our way. We could land this guy. It just shows that, well, it was nice to kind of see that we were up there, that we kind of made an impression. It shows that Wes and the guys, their recruiting tactics are working, and they, even when we don't have a lot of like wins lately to show for it. So I think that's what's missing right now. It's that the wins on the back end, on the back end of the season we just had, I think might have helped a little bit, but maybe that's some more motivation that, hey, we string together a couple good years, make some serious runs in March. I think you're going to see more guys like Flory. I think we're going to make it deeper into the process and start landing those guys too as well. Obviously, it was a bummer because, you know, we kind of got the tease with Collier earlier, and we were kind of hoping for something different here. But, I mean, I just think staying in the mix with teams like that, it's good. It's good for now as we're building momentum, but got to keep it in the back of our minds, you know, when we start winning some games that we did miss those, kind of time to get some payback and start landing some bigger guys.
Piggybacking off of that, though, I mean, as soon as you start winning in the Big 12, that's going to change everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
if you're able to take this team as is this year and make some noise in the Big 12, whether it be regular season, whether it be in the Big 12 tournament at the end of the season, or even in the NCAA tournament at the end of the whole season, I think that changes everything.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, the thing is also, it's, you know, it always seems like the staff is never, you know, there's always a backup plan and then a plan to that plan as well. And now that backup plan is, Chad is off camera right now. He'll be back in a bit, but as that backup plan now looks to be Jaden Quaintance, who is now obviously a center, 6'9", 230, out of North Carolina, word of God. But he's a guy who reclassified from 2025 to the class of 2024. He's very young for his age as well. He had this to say in a most recent article that Travis Brandon was able to post out, mentioning Cincinnati, saying, "I talked to Coach Wes Miller a lot. I've been to Cincinnati on unofficials. I really like Cincinnati. It has been one of the schools that has been recruiting me since forever." So, you know, you read that article that Brandon had out there. I'm not going to, you know, read the entire thing, but you really get a sense that the staff has really put in their due diligence on Jaden, and he's a player that reclassified 2024. Also, a player who fits the model as he just turned 16. So he's a player that, and Chad can double check this for me when he gets back, but a player who has to stay in college for 2 years as well. You know, someone who kind of like, and Amani Bates would be another example of that. Someone who couldn't be a one and done straight into the pros just because of his age. But so a huge prospect, a huge target, big man as well. And just seems like, okay, the Flory recruitment open and shut. Wes was in Atlanta checking out Jaden this past weekend. And so it looks like the staff is right onto that one. And Wes has been all over it as well. Aaron, Ryan, you guys have anything on the Jaden recruitment or that you've been able to see from your side of things?
I mean, go ahead, Ryan, if you.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I mean, again, it's just another one of those. We noticed probably quite a bit last year that this staff has done really well evaluating talent early on and kind of being ahead of the rankings. And I think this is just another example of that. And it's showing that this staff is not afraid to take big swings. Like, just because they realize that this is going to be a kid in the, you know, top 10, top 15 of when all the dust settles, they're not afraid to continue pushing onward and trying to land a whale instead of just a couple big fish.
Yeah. And obviously Jace Richardson's another name that staff has been linked to, has been linked to Cincinnati a lot as well. He said glowing things. Seems to be a good friend with Tyler McKinley. So McKinley's already a big commitment. That's already, you know, said he's going to be a Bearcat. And this only adds to the allure. Him, Jace, obviously, now Jaden in that 2024 class. I know Tyler Perry has been getting a little bit of more mention as well on top of it. Travis Perry. But it just seems as if things are really heading in the right direction for this to be a very big class, and one that just because of losing out on a player like Flory, it's no biggie because they're able to just roll on to the next option. Travis Perry, I don't want the Tyler Perry comment to come back and haunt me. The great movies that he makes, but definitely don't want that to come back and snip me. Anything else on the basketball side of things, guys? I think when Chad gets back, we'll kind of ring around the rosy and come back to it. But for now, this is what we've got. Anything? Nada?
Nope, I think we're good.
Do you have the old quick paper supply stamp there, Aaron?
Let me see if I can find that read.
Okay.
I was not prepared for that.
No, you're good. I mean, yeah.
I guess we can at least put the banner up though here.
Yeah, the quick paper supply. My boy. Good guy. I think he was at the Cincy Light meet and greet. All right. Well, I mean,
it's Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick at 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
great job, Aaron. Great.
Sorry about the delay on that read.
You're good. You're good. You're good. We're rolling off the cuff, as they say.
Right.
Guess we can bounce into football for now, but obviously it's been a couple of days have passed since the closing of the Big 12 Media Days. And Aaron, you were obviously all over it, being part of the BCJ pod, and then of course the nightcap afterwards. Ryan, were you able to at least take in some of the sights and sounds from that beautiful Jerry world that you've graced the field on before, but kind of just see what overall thoughts of the Big 12 Media Day now that the weekend has passed?
I didn't actually tune in to any really live coverage, just getting to see the guys like dressed up in their Instagram pictures. That's about as much as I took in. But it looked like
who did you think looked best? Let's go ahead and hear it, because I
thought
all
Emery
these
had the
guys.
most flash.
Okay.
Emery had the most flash. Dante kind of had a little bit of that Godfather look to him.
He did.
Not kind of more a little more of the subtle look. I just thought Emery's definitely was the flashiest, kind of the eye grabber, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, as we expected, just a whole different type of world because it's a whole different type of league, and it's kind of exciting getting to see just kind of like the presentation, the kind of the ambiance, you should say, of the Big 12 and what comes along with it when comparing it back to the great old AAC. I know we're going to love and miss those guys, but it was cool just to see everyone kind of get to go there and represent us in this new journey. But I didn't really take in everything exactly. I didn't get a lot of like direct video or live coverage, but yeah, there's the guys right there.
Dante.
Yeah.
Look at that. Beast.
The gang, the Bearcat.
We do have old Brendel back. Had to take a quick phone call. But Chad, I have to circle back real quick because obviously, and Aaron and Ryan did a great job filling in with some of the information needed as far as recruiting goes on the basketball side of things. But Chad, the ability for the staff to bounce back quickly, and Flory out of the picture now, Jayden Quaintance comes in.
Look, I think this is sudden for the fans, but I think the staff had an understanding that they probably weren't getting Flory weeks ago. there's a reason that I had been talking about it trending the way that it was trending. It's, it wasn't a huge surprise. It was a bit surprised that they didn't make a cut to 4. Like, I thought they would make a cut to 4, but I would say for a month or so, it didn't feel like things were trending in the right direction for Cincinnati. If I can sense that, I would certainly hope the coaching staff can sense that. So, I don't think it was a massive surprise. So, the thing is, like, at that spot, if you potentially have Aziz and Jamil and Vic potentially for another year,
right?
Like, center is not dire need in the 2024 class. And if you don't get one, then you find one in the portal again. If you, right. if you must. So I don't think losing him, obviously, this is not sour grapes. If you could get Flory, you get Flory.
Right.
But once it started to become clear that it was, Duke and Kansas were kind of pulling away from the field, then you can act accordingly and start to get yourself kind of reconfigured. Jaden Quintance, that one's going to be interesting. They've done the legwork early. There's a good chance, that they can get a visit or keep pushing to have a seat at that table. Mm-hmm. But, that one's now that he's in 24 officially, that one's going to explode over the next couple of weeks with teams right at the top of the sport wanting to throw their name in the hat. So,
he has some glowing things to say about Cincinnati, though, in that Brandom article. So
they've done a good job recruiting him. It's just going to be a hectic recruitment. So, predicting those before the visits start
truly actually begins.
Yeah, like it's just now getting started. So, I think they've done a good job up to this point. We'll see where it goes from there. Am I in a position to say I think Cincinnati's in the lead or Cincinnati's one of his, top 2 or 3 schools? No, I think that's premature. Because I think we're still finding out like who's going to be the major players in this thing. It's going to be more than Cincinnati, Ohio State, and Kentucky. Like, So, Jace Richardson, I think, is one that they would love to get. I really think that kind of probably is Alabama, Cincinnati, Michigan State with a couple others. Alabama has been hard to beat recently on the recruiting trail. So, I think obviously Michigan State with his dad playing for Izzo, that one's going to be tough. And then Alabama is just, especially guards, Nate Oates has been able to get what he wants at the top of their recruiting board. So that one's going to be a battle. Like, look, you want to recruit a bunch of 5-star and high 4-star guys? Guess what? Going to be a lot of battles against really good schools at recruiting that also want the kids just as much as you do. So buckle in and kind of see where these next couple of weeks go as we get towards visits being set up and lists being narrowed and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Aaron, did you have something to add or just popping back in? It's awesome to see in every single update. It's always Wes Miller this, Wes Miller that, which means that you've got the head coach going all in on these recruitments as well, where and sure, it's run differently at different places, but a lot of places you'll say, oh, this assistant reaches out to me a lot. But no, all these big guys, it's always Wes. You saw it as well with Travis Perry update recruitment on a different site. And so it just seems like another name, as well as Jace Richardson, just all these heavy, big time targets really actually just keeping in and having Cincinnati not only right there in the thick of things, but potentially at the top. I Another thing on Jaden Chad was the fact that he got to spend 2 years in college, if that looks to be correct, because his birth date.
There's a lot of other options, but it'll be 2
Right.
years before he goes into the NBA.
Yeah, so like Amani Bates, I think Scoot Henderson might have had to do the same thing, but yeah, just kind of the whole age type ordeal. So another thing to think of. Could you imagine 2 years with a player of his magnitude would be pretty phenomenal.
I think he's also been to 5 high schools and like 7 AAU teams. So counting on him being anywhere for 2 years might be a fool's errand. Yeah, he's moved around a lot.
That he has. But of course, with NIL and whatnot, sometimes it could be fun to just hang out for 2 years and be the BMOC, if you will.
Yeah, Tom, Mick did a terrible job with Gary Clark and Jacob Evans and Trey Scott and Troy Copain and Jaron Cumberland and Kyle Washington, and yeah, what a bunch of chumps those guys were. It's such a fucking stupid narrative. It drives me nuts.
You get so mad.
Are we hung up on Rayshawn Fredericks? Is that where we're?
He took one JUCO guy. Yeah.
Shaq Mooch. Love you, Tonk. You're the man.
Shaq Mooch was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, he was pretty solid. He was. But yeah, there you go. We already did the quick paper supply timestamp for that.
We did.
Aaron, you did a great job.
It only took about 3. It took 3 minutes to find, but
hey, man,
we found it. We read it. We're good.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month purchases. There, we did it again.
Nick will love that twice. Not 2 times with Nick. 2 times.
Sounds nice. Make it twice.
Whew. Like couscous or mahi mahi. But anyway, Chad, real quick before we completely move on, staff is out on the road again this weekend, or is it dead period?
There's some weird, stupid sanctioned like camp, NCAA camp thing. I don't even know if they're going to be. I know they can be. I don't know if they've tried these things before, and the attendance has been such a disaster that coaches generally tend to not even really go. Mm-hmm. But if they're out on the road, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Ryan Reuter. Evan Prater, wide receiver. Your thoughts when you finally saw it? And real quick before I passed the baton to you, I thought this was worth reading it, even though obviously happened 5 days ago. Love this team in the city of Cincinnati. It was hard to put the pride and ego aside, but I want to do whatever I can to help this team. Appreciate all the love and support from y'all. Go Bearcats.
Yeah. First things going off that tweet. No surprise. I think it's a nice gesture by him to kind of just put that out there because there's always going to be like crazy fans like running their mouths about how he's thinks this, thinks that. So it's nice for him to go out there. But I mean, guys that have played with him, they didn't even need something like that from him. He's a great teammate, a great kid. Just a pleasure to be around on and off the field, in and out of the locker room. So a move like this doesn't surprise me that he's willing and able. I know he's going to give every bit of all that he has to work through this. And, we've kind of like seeing what happened with him at the end of the year and then kind of the injury going into spring ball. You just never know really how much that comes into play. But, maybe he's thinking that, hey, this is my best chance to help the team right now if I can't find the way to get on the field at quarterback. So I commend that, and just kind of shows how he cares about this team and cares about the university. So that made me like very proud of him, very proud of like for him to rep this team that I got to play for. But going to more of the skill set wise, I was a little hesitant on the initial thoughts of what I really think of him, because when a quarterback runs the ball, it's nowhere near the type of movement that you see from receivers. And you're like, receivers nowadays, the route running, the what it takes to get open on corners, especially Big 12 corners, it's a whole different ball game. It's insane. Alec would try to tell me about it, and I couldn't even wrap my head around it. That's why I never even attempted playing receiver. But
Also, because you're 5'10" and slow.
I'm Julian Edelman. I'm just fatter and not as good. But it's hard. It was hard for me at first to kind of see the transition, because just seeing him run around at a quarterback, you're like, well, it's a whole different ball game, splitting out wide and trying to get open and man coverage and find holes in zones. But then I've heard a little birdies chirping. I've seen a little things, but they're kind of starting to prove me wrong, and it's surprising me a little bit. So I'm happy to be seeing that, because depth is good, and seeing that Evan has a chance to, to make a difference and maybe get some playing time, maybe get out there on special teams, kind of just seeing some athleticism I didn't really know that he had. That doesn't mean I'm taking away from him, and he was a crazy athletic quarterback, but I didn't know he was going to be able to transition that athleticism to different facets of the field so quickly. So look out, guys. It's progressing quicker than I would have thought. So.
And you're muted.
I think this goes back to what Juwan Briggs was saying at the Big 12 Media Days, though, where he made reference several different times to the culture that Satterfield and his staff have embraced that was already left over from Fickle, and what of the roster was left when Fickle and his staff left for Wisconsin. But just doubling up and building on that culture that was pre-existing. And Ryan's talked about the culture over and over and over again. And I think this just exemplifies that in a situation that we have that is tangible at this point, where we can see, the transitioning from quarterback to a receiver is not something that everybody would embrace and do the way that Evan's doing. And I think that it's really good to see that happening here.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, like, it's not like they're just going to stick them out wide and tell them to go run traditional wide receiver routes. Satterfield mentioned numerous times they're going to use them a lot, kind of, have them in the backfield, bring them in motion.
Right.
I think we saw last year and throughout his time, whenever he was on the field, getting the ball in the backfield and making a couple men miss and taking it for extra yardage is something he really excels at. So, I mean, even handing him the ball on jet sweeps, or making it kind of simple for him where he's not a traditional wide receiver is something that will even help out. And I mean, the main thing when it comes to big time teams is just playmakers. And I mean, he's a playmaker. Sure, the injuries really dampered his ability to throw the football with good accuracy and touch and whatnot, but sure didn't take away from his athletic ability, as we saw a couple of times this past season. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And that wide receiver room just adds another one. They updated the roster on the website, and he's already got wide receiver next to his name. And that's something that you love to see when it comes to that sort of a thing. So, but yeah, little birdie's telling you, Royer, that he's looking pretty nice out there. Little pitch and catching, huh?
You're muted, Ryan.
Thank you. Everything changes when you put on the pads, but
Right.
just the movement is what I think is key. Can he move? Can he get open? Can he
can
move in space? Yeah. And it's always hard to kind of imagine someone, because what I think is wide receiver and cornerback is probably one of the most athletic. I think it is the most athletically demanding position in sports. And
I go corner because you have to react. Like they know what they're doing and you don't.
Yeah. I mean, granted, then you go, like, I think only thing it's a different kind of outlook, but like hitting a Major League Baseball just the insane. It's a whole different skill group, but just kind of like the insane difficulty. I mean, the routes these guys run these days is just unbelievable, and then having to cover that is even harder, like what Chad was saying. So it's hard. It's not easy, and to be able to just jump right in there. But just seeing what I'm seeing at it, it kind of shows, damn, he really was really gifted, and sometimes playing quarterback can kind of put a filter on that. So I'm excited. He's probably got a whole bag of tricks we don't even friggin' know about. So
there we go.
I'm excited. I mean, camp will be the telltale. Old higher ground. We'll see how bad he wants to play receiver out there. So we'll see how that goes.
The thing I like with Evan is, like, you can get him in the ball in space and he can make plays. So, especially for a guy his size, like normally you've got to be a smaller guy to have that short area quickness that he has. He's not a small dude. So, if you can get him in space the way that this offense, Satterfield's offense, is designed to create space, I think it's only a positive going forward. Hopefully they get his shoulder right. And I know it's been in pretty bad shape from, the middle part of last season all the way through and into spring. And they shut him down and tried to get it right, but it's still not there. So hopefully the shoulder gets back where it needs to be, because as Alec can tell you, playing wide receiver with a wonky shoulder isn't great either. So hopefully it all comes together for him and he can be another, like, this is the crazy thing. And I'm sure next week, maybe the week after, will be our hardcore camp preview show, but we're getting there. I'm honestly really, like, wide receiver is fascinating because I think because they lost everything. They lost everything. Yeah. Everyone but Chris Scott. They literally lost an entire room. And it might still be pretty good.
Yeah.
Xavier Henderson, D. Wiggins, Donovan Ollie, Aaron Turner, Barry Jackson, Chris Scott. Now you add Evan in there. All of a sudden you're looking at 6, 7, 8 guys that's really what you need in that room. And I don't feel bad. Like you would think we feel terrible about the wide receiver room. But right. I think at least on paper, as we're a couple weeks from higher ground, I think you look at this and say, you know what? I don't feel terrible. And this is a point I wanted to make on this show tonight. Glad we brought us here.
Mm-hmm.
There is a correct narrative about this offense that we don't know anything.
Yeah.
Because there's probably going to be 4 new offensive linemen, an all-new wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
The tight end is going to be brand new. There's a new quarterback. The quarterbacks behind the new quarterback have never taken a snap here. Like, everything about this offense is an unknown.
Yep.
I think you also have to acknowledge, just because it's an unknown doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
Now, does it have 2, 3, 4 years of experience together and, the same coordinator and everything's, humming at 100 miles an hour? No. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it doesn't rule out completely that with a good defense, that this offense can't be competent. Scott Satterfield's an offensive first coach. He's a quarterback. His specialty, his entire career has been what? Coaching offense. So I think it is premature to just assume that the offense is going to be bad.
Right.
Maybe they're not good. Maybe they're average. And if they're average, that could be a problem in this league because points are scored frequently. But they can find a way to play good defense and get points on the board. You might have a team that's a lot better than people expect. So I think there's just that quick assumption that, well, the offense is new, so they're going to suck. Yeah. I don't know that we can say that like right off the bat without seeing how a lot of this fits together.
Yeah, and it kind of piggybacking off that as well is the fact that and 30 Walrus, yeah, definitely a ton of talent on it. Consistency comes with reps, but one of the comments and Emery
Not
was
denying that, Mr.
no,
Walrus.
yeah,
Or
it's completely true, Thrifty boy. But
That's a seal, not a walrus, Chad.
I don't know what sound a walrus. What
probably
sound does a
I don't know that they make a ton of sense.
just a real big seal. There we go. For me, I think Emery was just a treasure chest full of great quotes from Big 12 Media Days. And one of them was when he mentioned the fact that he sees the talent that's in the weight room and in that locker room. He knows that the work that they're putting in, and this is a guy who spent 3 seasons at Florida. Sure, they weren't really the dog days of Florida. They weren't out there winning every single game, but there were some talented players on that football team. And then went to a train wreck at Arizona State, but there were still some talented players on that football team. And he's kind of mentioning he's seeing the hard work and the amount of talent that's in those behind those walls. And he knows, he's excited about what they can do out there on the field, which for me is a testament to, what we've got something that not a lot of people know about. And that's because we really don't know about it, as you mentioned, Chad. But I am beyond thrilled to see how they look, definitely starting at Camp Higher Ground and how it rolls into the season. Because, I mean, if Emery shows up and he is ready to show the type of talent that he is, he had this quote as well. I want to show everybody I was ranked as high as I was in high school for a reason, and why I was there in a pre-mock draft of me going number 6 in 2022. Just showing the world that I'm number 5, that I'm that Emery. Just be dominant. I mean, if you need one position on your team to have confidence and go out there with some swagger, it's quarterback. And if Emery can go out there and show it, then I think this offense can be a lot better than expected. Offensive line, I thought it was interesting. Chad and Aaron, you guys were kind of talking with Keegan about this. Mentioned DeAndre Buford, Luke Kandra, obviously, but he said, Coach Satterfield said there's 7 to 8 players that they feel comfortable with right now that can go out there and perform at a high level. Well, the whole iron sharpens iron, the FE2, FE squared, if you will, Ryan. What does it mean for this offensive line going up against what everyone is considering the best defensive line in the entire Big 12 and arguably up there as some of the best D-line in the entire country, going up against them every day at Camp Higher Ground, iron sharpening iron? That can only do wonders for an offensive line that's going to try and figure things out. You're muted, Brian. Take it away.
Sorry, we got a lot of noise in the apartment. I'm keeping myself muted right now.
Good.
Camp is great because it's always good on good at all times, and it's just high octane, go, like win your spot or solidify your spot, grow your role. So I think the D line is going to be relentless, and I think that's what the O line needs. And I think the first couple days, the O line is going to get the shit kicked out of them, and that's pretty normal. But I think you're going to see it even more this year. Got a lot of guys back with a lot of reps, so they're going to be firing the first couple days. But then after the vets kind of like they'll start tapering the vets off a little bit and let the young guys go. And then I think the O-line will start getting like their feet under them, getting comfortable because we got a lot of great guys, and a lot of the guys I've talked to on the O-line that have been in the program just say like the talent is there. Like if you stack up guy for guy against O-lines we've had in the past, I mean this one stacks up the same if not better is what they're saying. But it's about 5 guys playing together, and that's really what camp is going to show. Like, can these guys form a bond? Can they form into a true?
I think they're going to be really good inside, Ryan. Between Gerhardt, Radosevich, and Kandra, I think they have a chance to be really good inside.
The talent's there, and they just got – and I think getting some good competition, as long as they kind of rally around each other and kind of just get better and keep working on their game together, then I think this O-line has every bit of a chance to kind of be a sidekick be the Robin to the D line's Batman, so to say.
Can I have an unpopular opinion?
Let's hear it.
I'm worried we're overrating this D line.
You think?
Where's the pass rush? Like this is not a
like
slight
the
at Dante.
Majay
Like,
type?
yeah,
Oh,
where's the
okay.
guy that gets after the quarterback? Like,
Yeah.
where is the like? Is it Gressick? Like, if it is, okay, great. Like, I feel way better.
Yeah,
And,
he still
like,
has more of that like
but-
brute build though, like the big, we don't have a
Right?
lot of,
Like, they're big, they're physical.
Mhm.
But where's the quick? Where's the sudden? Where's the in a league that is probably going to pass a lot. In a league where you're running a 3-man front, and people seem to be convinced that if you run a 3-man front, you can't stop the run. I get the hype because Dante Corleone is as good as advertised. Juwan Briggs is as good as advertised. Malik Vance should have, if he stays healthy, should have a great senior year. But where is that just relentless, constant pressure at the quarterback going to come from? Which is what I think of when I think. I think Eric can be good. Is he a quick twitch speed guy?
No, not exactly. But
I just what I'm saying when I think of a dominant defensive line, I think of a defensive line that can stuff the run, hold you to around or under 3 yards a carry, and then get after the passer relentlessly. And I don't know that that's the traits that we have seen from this group last year. It's a similar group, right? We this is not too different than the group we saw last year. Now, and Tonk makes a good point. Like Brian Brown is a guy that is known for being able to get pressure on the quarterback. He's also been able to do it with guys he recruited to get pressure on the quarterback. Like when he didn't really fully have his guys in place at Louisville, they were not this sack machine that we saw a year ago. Right. So I'm not saying they can't be the best line in the D12 or in the Big 12, D12. It's a different thing. These blue and yellow, purple pills. Different thing. But I'm not saying they can't be the best defensive line in the Big 12. I'm just saying until we see that ingredient of constant, pressure at the quarterback, and then the ability to really stop the run. What did we talk about last year was the problem? They didn't stop the run. Couldn't stop the run. Teams were able to run on them. They're running a 3-man front with their running back almost the same defensive line. Mm-hmm. So I'm not down on it. I'm just trying to to reel it in a notch. Right?
Yeah, like Yaya Diaby was their big defensive lineman who was second on the team with 9 sacks. He was D-line, rush end type player. Then, of course, they had 2 good linebackers in Monty Montgomery and Yasir Abdullah, who was second and
that's
first.
Where a lot of their sacks came from. Were from the linebackers, not from the D-line.
But they did have 2 D linemen that got 7 or more sacks last season. So you definitely need that speed, that kind of side. And is Greshik that? If he is, then maybe that solves some of the issue. But I agree, Chad. There isn't that bona fide pass rushing specialist. And last year, the team had that too. But that's why you had Ivan Pace.
And they weren't great on the ground. They weren't great stopping the run. And they weren't great getting pressure on the quarterback. And guess what? The defense fell off a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you're going back to the well with the same guys and expecting – it's not that you're expecting improvement. It's that people are hyping them up to elite. So what's going to happen? Because I've been doing this a long-ass time.
If you're not elite, they're going to say
the minute they're not elite, everybody's going to want to fire Walt Stewart. They're going to turn on Walt Stewart. Brian Brown's not a great D-line or not a great defensive coordinator. Like, I know how this story goes. Mm-hmm. I've seen it. I've read this book. It's
Yeah.
now the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Just saying. Or quarterbacks coach or whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah. I think he's quarterback coach.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hear what they're saying scheme wise too, because at the media days, Dante was asked, "Is this at all anything like, Tressel's scheme or anything?" And Dante's like, "No, not at all. Completely different. We're going, balls to the wall every play. So, it seems like they're bringing a blitz every single play. So, scheme will probably help out with some of that, but also you do need that Majay type to become special." On that special level. So who knows? Maybe Briggs turns into some sort of a crazy sack artist with all that
Sure,
weight.
I'm not ruling it out
cut.
with a new
Right.
coordinator. We are here to have these conversations.
Oh yeah,
That's
for sure.
That's what we do. Like we're Brent is Mr. Positive, and we keep a positive connotation. But if there's a conversation to be had, let's have the conversation.
For sure.
Because I know what's going to happen if they're not awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Preparing us for the nightmare ahead.
Exactly. And kind of going off of this, in the trenches type ordeal. You mentioned the interior offensive line. You feel like that's going to be pretty strong, Chad. Kind of like what the Atlanta Falcons are doing in the NFL. And, I haven't done a deep dive on the Big 12 defenses and kind of their scheme and whatnot. But do you think at all there's any sort of a, how the Falcons are kind of like, okay, all these defenses in the NFL are now scheming to stop spread out offenses, scheming to stop, passing attacks that are kind of littering the NFL. Aaron, I read it too. It is funny. We should not put that up here. But
Nope.
do you kind of feel like maybe that's something that, this offensive scheme of kind of the amount of rushing success that this team does have? I'm trying to think, is this going to be a zig while everyone else zags, and now all of a sudden these kind of brute interior offensive linemen are kind of leading to a rushing attack that kind of surprises the defenses of the Big 12 that might be more geared up to stop the passing attacks?
I hope and pray that this staff just adjusts to whatever the game presents. Like, I don't want them to necessarily put all their eggs in one basket, if you will, because I don't know that this offensive line, we don't know what this offensive line is prepared to do, right? We don't know if this offensive line can necessarily be a team that can run the ball 30, 40 times a game and have success and putting points on the board. So I'm a little just I just really hope that they adjust and can figure it out before we really get into a bad spot.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like obviously they've mentioned numerous times that Emery's going to look to run the football a lot more this year. He's one of the fastest players on the team and one of the best athletes on the team. It just seems as if a lot of defenses, especially in kind of the air raid flush Big 12 that people think of it as, could be geared up a little bit more to stopping high-powered passing attacks. And if you have that, like an offensive line more geared towards the run, maybe you do have some sort of an ability to kind of attack the trenches a little bit more in the rushing mentality. So I don't know, just something that kind of popped into my head as we were kind of talking about the trenches. But I don't know, Ryan, do you feel like defenses are kind of shifting to that in college football as the NFL obviously is, with the amount of nickels and extra DBs and kind of these hybrid linebacker DBs that each NFL team has to try and take away passing schemes?
Yeah, so what they tell us in college is that you see a lot of stuff kind of work its way up from high school to college, then to the NFL. So the NFL does mirror a lot of the college game, and you need one, it's just the way football is adapting. It's all about space, it's all about speed, And sometimes, sometimes more frequently nowadays. So you could probably just say more frequently nowadays. There's guys are faster, coordinators know more about the game, know different ways to exploit. So the defense has to react differently. So we got to match speed with speed. So we're going to take a D lineman out. We're going to put a nickel in, or we're going to take a linebacker out and put more of a hybrid linebacker safety type. And it's just it's just the way the game is right now. It's because guys are so big, strong, and athletic. It's hard to run the ball inside. It's hard to get movement. So they're just saying, let's just play, find the hole and dump it in different ways, you could say. And so you're going to need guys in space on both sides of the ball. And so I think defense has kind of responded with the shift to the speed game on the edges with, all right, we got to have guys that can move laterally, guys that can cover.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you're kind of seeing that nickel and more safety kind of look.
Right.
But
so could be nice. Could catch them by surprise. Hit them in the mouth and run it down their throat. That'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. Anything more on as far as football goes? Closing up Big 12 thoughts or anything? Aaron, you're on mute before you start talking.
I did just want to mention that I think everybody who was interviewed, all the players that were there, mentioned how much they have enjoyed and appreciated Nico. And I think that is, again, another thing, just a tribute to the culture that the staff is already setting up. And with Nico, with this being his first job at the helm, I think that's a huge hat tip for him.
They love him. They love him.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, we love him. So, yeah.
He's the man.
We love him.
That's Ryan's guy. I think Ryan would go to war for Nico.
Yes, sir.
I want to agree with that statement until Ryan's made an effort to get in the actual weight room with him and gone to war with him.
No, I think he would. There's a difference between would go to war with him and have gone to war with him. Those are two different things.
I would do both.
You just haven't done it yet.
Yes.
Nico's the
draft
man.
dodger.
Bone spurs. Trick elbow from when you were working over Landon Fickle.
Yeah, man.
Tennis elbow.
Yeah. Actually, Pat Lambert almost exploded my MCL in my elbow when we were doing like pump blocking drills. Just literally punted my hand and like it hyperextended my elbow. It almost blew out my elbow through my arm.
That guy never gave a shit about
his
man.
foot.
Yeah,
he tried to hurt Mr. Bearcat.
I know, man. He doesn't know what he's doing, dude. That's why he's a little whiskey guy now.
Yeah, and gotta love ESPN picking up on Squat Fest the year that
acting like it's like the hottest trend in the country. Squat Fest. These Wisconsin guys do it different.
He said, "Man, something's going on in Wisconsin these days, boy." I said, "All right, Brady." But yeah, Nico's the man. And you know what? I loved the Deshaun Pace interview. Just laying into the Joker, and they're like, I think Scott Springer was like, "So what? Do you consider yourself a villain?" And Pace is just like, I played defense. Yeah,
just sending a message.
Yeah.
He's going to blow up.
Defense. It's about sending a message.
He is going to blow up. I'm excited to see that. I'm really excited to see that. Yeah. Closing thoughts on the Big 12 Media Days and just football, as obviously we're getting closer and closer to that opening kickoff.
Man, it's going to be such a fun higher ground. Like, there's so much. And I'll give you guys this. I got word today. It's going to be all systems go, I think, for coverage at Camp Higher Ground, which means not only are you going to get practice reports and videos and everything that we normally do, the podcasts, the nightcaps, but then we're also going to now have Keegan to do the written side of things with feature articles and and things of that nature. So we are going to be better than ever at Camp Higher Ground this year. So
And the Athletic won't be there every day because he covers 14 teams.
You said that. I didn't. I don't know.
Wow. Wow. Love you, Jay.
I'm just
Will.
saying.
Love you, Jay Will.
I'm not saying.
Just saying. Just saying. We're gonna be. We're number one. That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna be exciting. Royer, let me know when
you're
you
gonna come out, Royer. You gonna find. You gonna take a day off, rock a vacation day, find a way to come join me at Higher Ground for a day.
That is tempting.
Night practices will be there for sure.
Yeah, I can
if
do a
there
night
is
practice
one.
for sure.
Yeah.
Brian, you gotta get
that?
the menu and figure out which day you want to go based on the food choices,
come
right?
on, Chad. Chad, what day am I coming? Tell them.
I haven't. I don't know yet. You're coming on Monterey
No,
Ranch
if you're
Chicken
going off
Sandwich
the
Day.
menu. If we're going off the
Monterey
menu,
Ranch Chicken Sandwich Day. That's
yes.
my day.
God.
That's the best day.
Glad you remembered one thing about my career is how many of those I would eat in a fucking day.
Oh, so good. And with the homemade bacon ranch.
Yeah.
Slathered on
I feel
top
we've had this conversation at least this
many
much.
seven times.
Yeah, this is like the 14th time we've had this conversation.
God, that's
Tap
what made
Gatorade.
me gain weight at higher ground. It wasn't the fact that I only practiced about 5 minutes a day, but
you still stood out in the 100 and
no, I'll tell you what, I was
temperature.
still sore from standing, but it was like everyone's like,
I
God,
was still
man,
sore
I lost
from
like 10
standing.
pounds. I get on the damn scale. It's like I'm either the same.
You gained 3 pounds.
Gain it after lunch. I'm like, Royer's gaining weight out here. Like, let's go. Like, I'm like, yeah, we ain't too excited about that one, man. Don't be hyping me up too much.
I was at that dessert table for dinner 4 times last night.
I had to start that was the thing. I was like, I had to start like limiting my desserts compared to the years before because.
So
like,
here's the thing, Ryan.
I have not burning enough calories.
Here's the thing. They don't they have a dessert for lunch, right? But if you go at night, they have like 7 dessert tables.
Yeah. And then snack. Then don't forget about snack, milkshake and cookie from those strength coaches.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, dude. It's literally like unbelievable how much
night wings.
Yeah.
Meatballs, chicken tenders.
But yeah, like the first time I went for dinner, I was like, what is this? There are 7 tables with just cakes and pies and like fucking dessert.
What do they call it? The Bearcat bar? The one.
It was like it's like the brownie cookie thing.
Yeah.
Oh goodness gracious!
I had about 4 of them.
So for lunch you just get like there's just a thing of like it's the Bearcat bar or it's like the Rice Krispie
brownie cookie
or the brownie cookie thing.
Rice Krispie, yeah.
Yeah, but dinner, that's a different deal. I could see where you gain weight, like because there's hundreds of them up there. It feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, and no one's stopping you from getting seconds. I never was a second
or
dessert.
Or fourths.
I never got myself to that, but I mean, the one portion is enough for 2.
Yes, but if you have limited self-control, like someone that owns a regionally popular sports network, I could see where you could get tempted to have 2 or 3 different desserts.
What Chad's trying to say is he also gains weight during Camp Higher Ground.
Yeah. And it's the time of the year when I do more activity than any other time of the year. And I still,
Chad, you probably do eat, if you go to Higher Ground dinner, you're pushing up.
I don't do, we were just there for lunch.
Oh, yeah, you could still get close to like your daily caloric resting intake in one meal. And that's just one meal. You're gaining, you could gain a shit ton, dude.
Yep. I do pretty good at portion control, like on my own volition.
Yeah.
Up there, That's when I'm like, you got Chuck and his wife runs the kitchen, and like they kind of pressure you into like, how was the food today? And if you got just this little tiny plate of food, like, you kind of feel like an asshole because they let you stay for lunch.
Yeah,
it's peer pressure.
I never had a little plate.
No, I'm saying you can't have a little plate because Chuck might stop by and be like, yeah, the food's really freaking good. It's really good. So, yeah.
Brady would walk by. You get a shake? You guys get a shake? So then you're doing the shake on top. We are not athletes.
Shake somebody's hand? Yeah.
We aren't athletes. We don't need the shake on top as we leave, but
or the salt.
What did Brady do? Brady used to put. Oh, I know
cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese and applesauce.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
You get a huge plate of applesauce and then dump like 5 scoops of cottage cheese on top of it.
Really? I never saw that.
That was his thing, quote unquote, his thing. Fucking disgusting.
Can't wait
Don't
to
knock
hear
it until you try
it. Like he hangs out at retirement homes or something.
That is
Don't knock cottage cheese. That stuff's good.
Dish.
Cottage
cheese. He texted me the day of Squad Fest after it was done. Like, it just wasn't the same without you guys up here. And I'm like, you did that. I didn't do that. You did that. I'm still here. I'm not fucking leaving.
But how cool was Big Cat?
Was Big Cat there?
Yeah, I believe
he was at Squad Fest. No shit.
He wasn't there, but they sent Barstool guys.
Oh, they sent Barstool guys there.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh god, I thought I'd say if Big Cat was there, dude,
but
doing something.
But like Big Cat hooked him up was to sending him there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like, that's just whatever.
Barstool is where the videos at ESPN, like that's where the videos kind of went viral. Was Barstool sent one of their crews, and I thought he showed up, but I didn't know.
Brady was texting me the night before. He's like, Squad Fest tomorrow. I was like, damn, like that's gonna be fun. And he's like, yeah, like we should have flew you out here for it. And I was like, oh no, I wouldn't let you guys do that. He's
hard pass.
Would you rock the W, Roar?
He's like, you gotta drive. You gotta come drive in the morning. You can make it. And I was like, it was like an 8-hour drive. I was like, I'd have to literally leave at 2 a.m. He's like, do it. I have to go back and look at the text.
I love that you're slipping into your Brady impression.
Oh yeah. It's so good, dude. He's like, I don't fucking care. Get in that fucking car right now.
Well,
all right.
I'll tell you what, wasn't the same without us, but yeah, I mean that's talking the dub here for a second on the BBP. Go ahead and give us a timestamp, Aaron. You want to read it on this chat?
I'm gonna read it.
I'm ready. I got it.
All right.
I mean, you can read it if you want to.
Quick Paper Supply, your locally and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all of your janitorial needs. Call Nick at 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
We should mess up and just have everybody start calling Nico. Call Nico at. See if anybody catches it.
We just gave it to you guys.
They pay you. I'm going to read what it says to read.
It's fine.
Golly. Well, now it's time for your read, and we head on into the mailbag there. Aaron.
It is that. Low Miller Real Estate presents the Bearcat Bounce mailbag, brought to you by Adrian L. Henson, realtor. You can reach her at 859-444-8159. Get your free home evaluations. She can also be reached via email at ahenson@Low Miller Real Estate. That's LOHMILLER realestate.com, or at Adrian, ADREAN, L Henson @iCloud.com. Again, free home evaluations all the way from Lexington, Louisville, all the way up to the tri-state area. So check her out if you're looking
baby.
to sell your real estate. Brings us to the football portion of the mailbag. You guys had roughly 36 hours to fill up the mailbag. So here we go.
They did a terrible job.
For 36 hours, I was a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Starting off, who was the last UC defensive player to score a touchdown while the UC offense was running a play? Okay, last defensive player to score that never was listed as an offensive position during his career with UC. This information was gathered by Sports Reference, but they did have something false, like Majay catching a pass in the Birmingham Bowl versus Boston College. It was Trey Tucker who caught the pass from Ben Bryant. ESPN says this as well, but the YouTube video is where the truth is.
Okay.
I actually have the answers, but
who was the last UC defensive player to score a touchdown while the UC offense was running a play? So the defensive player was on the field with the offense?
Like part of the offense, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Wait. Give us an era. Do you have like a year?
I didn't do the research to find these answers. I was just given the answer from UC Merck.
Oh, but you don't.
I don't know where this name is even from. I could not begin to tell you.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hear the first one.
Marcus Waugh.
Oh yeah.
Linebacker.
But he kind of played fullback. Didn't he transition
Yeah,
to
so
fullback?
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He got a plunge at fullback. Would you have done that, Royer? Would you have played some fullback?
Dude, 100%. Because we would do the Navy cut drill, and I would just chop these fuckers down. And I was like, oh, I need to tell Denbrock that I just want to go out there and just fucking run fullback so bad. I never had the ball. I never had the balls to do it though, because I was like, yeah, I don't. That's kind of a stretch. And I was like, I only weighed like 220 pounds. Like I don't know if I was going to be able to. They'd be like, oh, you got to gain 20 pounds. I was like, yeah, I'm already fat enough. I don't need an excuse.
Well, Luke didn't really let anybody transition from defense to offense, right? Like only from offense.
I could have sweet talked him into it. My dumb ass. He would have let me.
Marcus Waugh is kind of funny. 2007, a unique two-way player. 2008, played hybrid fullback tight end. 2009, after playing 5 different positions at UC, he finally found a home at inside linebacker this season. So, the boy was all around, I tell you what.
All over the place. And the defensive player to score that never was listed as an offensive position during his career with UC is Delbert Ferguson.
Hell of a name.
I know the name. I don't remember. Is that Butch?
I'm looking it up now because I'm kind of on your wavelength. 2004.
No, that was D'Antonio. Right into the beginning of the early part of BK.
No, well, so 2004 was when he first was. That was his recruiting profile. So he was 06, 07, 08.
Yeah. So D'Antonio right into the early part of BK.
Yep. Huh.
There you go.
1 yard receiving touchdown as a senior. Good for him, man. Didn't really put up many stats other than that. Delbert Ferguson. Thanks, Mark.
I had myself hidden. I was trying to call Denbrock to ask him live on air if he would have ever given you a chance at fullback, but
he didn't answer.
He would have said yes, just because he's not going to be the ass. But
you don't know Mike Denbrock if you think he's not going to.
He would have said yes on air. But if I would have told him, if I would have asked him, like in the hallway, he'd be, "Get the fuck out of here."
That is correct. That is factually correct. We got like 15 minutes to see if Denbrock calls me back. If he does, we'll ask him.
Hey, tell him I got one more year. If if the old fighting Brian Kellys need another dumb idiot to run his head through a couple walls down in Baton Rouge.
Why does Tony Pike keep getting overlooked for the Hall of Fame? It's honestly a disgrace.
Why does Mike Mickens? Why does Marty Gilliard? Why, like, what they have done in failing to honor the great teams of 08 and 09 is a disgrace. Like, it's not just Pike. It is Pike, but it's all of them. Like, Mike Mickens was an All-American. Like, he was on the staff. He met every criteria, and you did not put him in the Ring of Honor. What are we doing?
They're to the point where they need to start adding like 2 or 3 guys a year, right?
Yeah, they have fucked this up royally, the Ring of Honor. Royally. Bad. Really bad.
Well, didn't they induct the entire team?
They did induct the entire team, but that's, I mean, come on.
By the way, shout out Ann Thomas, one of my best friends, my very best friend's sister, just made the Hall of Fame for soccer as a former.
Oh,
congrats to Corey Blunt, Antoine Peak, like the incoming class in the Hall of Fame. Congrats.
those are a lot of like, how are they not already in as well?
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
Right.
Antoine Peak played in like the 90s. Like, how did it take this long for Antoine Peak to be in the Hall of Fame?
His kid's getting recruited, right?
No, his kid he plays here
on the team.
I mean, so yeah, that's a whole mess. What is our season win total if Emory Jones' stat line is 25 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 500 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns?
7-5, 8-4 range, above 6-6.
Bowling.
Oh, if that's a stat line, we're having one hell of a year. I tell you what, that's a good stat line.
Yeah.
Really good stat line. Yeah, we're definitely above 6 wins. 8 maybe.
If you're hitting 25 touchdowns, I imagine you're probably somewhere in the realm of 3,000, 3,500 yards at least.
Right, probably around 3,000, yeah. Depending on the run game, like the run game can get you down the field and then you throw a touchdown pass. Like, so 2,500 to 3,000 yards, I would guess.
Be totally good with that. So roughly 3,000, 3,500 yards total if he's got 500 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Dez only had 355 his senior year. 6 touchdowns.
That'd be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
All right. Any idea if the pit game time will be announced 13 days out or possibly sooner?
I don't know.
Oh, I forgot to bring that up. The CW. How about that?
High school football live from Heinz Field.
And yet it's still somehow better than the TV deal the Pac-12 does not have.
So quick, CW. Can you guys name one show from the CW or the WB?
Charmed,
okay. Good job, Chad. You move on.
Kelly used to love reruns of Charmed.
Okay.
Which had Alyssa Milano and Shannon Doherty. So
you would watch.
I watched.
You get sucked in, didn't you?
I didn't even argue.
With that roster, you're good.
I'm good. It's all right.
Dawson's Creek back in the day.
Wasn't the chick from Party of Five on there for a while too?
I think Party of Five might have been on there at one point, way back in the day. I didn't watch Party of Five, but
while she was in the hospital, there was a period of like 3 weeks where Charmed was on every day when I got there between like 10 and 11.
Isn't that the show that's always on like after the NBA finishes airing?
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't on the CW like in the hospital. It was just on the CW when it aired, or the WB or whatever when it aired.
Big Gossip Girl guy here. Gotta love a good Gossip Girl.
The remake was horrendous. The remake on HBO.
I've not watched one of the remake because you can't touch Serena van der Woodsen, Blair Woodruff, and Nate Archibald. The remake's already been canceled. So good.
Who's announcing that game on the CW? Tom Welling from Smallville.
Nate Archibald and Chuck Bass in the booth. I would love to see that.
All right.
Nate Tiny Archibald?
Nate Tiny Archibald.
That's the end of the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. Can you give us any updates from your little birdies on Open Gym? Has this team played against this current TBD team in Open Gym? Go back to the first hour.
35 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
40 minutes of the show.
There you go.
We cannot give you any updates, and we don't know if they're going to be playing.
Classic, like Aaron or Chad, just go listen to what the hell we just talked about.
I know.
Well, they don't know what
this
they don't know what we're going to talk about.
Yesterday.
I gave an answer.
I know. I just love it. It just makes me laugh. Just leave me the fuck alone and go.
All right. What happened with the Fleury recruitment? Went from being a favorite to land him to not making his Final Four. Couldn't afford him. UC backed off towards the end of it with Blue Bloods getting more involved. He hates Skyline.
Yeah, that was it. That was.
I already got sick of Chad. He was like, I just can't imagine dealing with him.
Damn guy keeps hitting me up.
How about the horde of IU fans that tried to like bombard me with like, you said he was going to Cincinnati. Never once, you fucking
Trevor
asshole.
Anderson
Never once said it. That was your guy. That was your guy that said he was going to Cincinnati. I didn't say that.
Which, by the way, Trevor's not wrong very often. That's
what everybody
so hard to be first. You know what I mean?
That's what everybody thought.
Yeah.
This is why when you lock in a crystal ball, it should be locked in forever, and you should never be allowed to change it. But I digress. All right. May have missed it, but haven't seen anything on the Dayton game since it was initially reported. Any updates? Still likely to happen. Also, when should we expect the Big 12 schedule to be announced?
You will have all the answers you've ever desired on the Dayton game tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Oh, is that when we're announcing the out-of-conference schedule?
No, it's when the Dayton game is being announced.
All right. Well, still looking for that out-of-conference schedule.
Still likely to happen? Yes.
When should we
expect the Big 12 schedule? That I have no idea on that. What?
Are we playing on the battleship this year?
No, they're playing. Well, kind of. They're playing in a war zone, Heritage Bank Arena.
It's not a war zone. It's a third world country.
Bring your RC Cola.
I heard we're playing in Ukraine this year.
Bring your Deja Blue.
Not a bad tasting water, really.
And that's the end of the basketball portion of the mailbag. You guys had 36 hours. Moving on to the Banks portion of the mailbag. Rapid fire.
Chad, do your thing. Do it.
Chad.
Do your thing.
Chad, do your thing. What's your thing, Chad?
Where I take rapid fire and make it a 5-minute.
That's
what I do.
What is better for Aaron's tinfoil hats, Reynolds or Dollar Tree brand?
It depends. Do you want to use it for more than one use, or every time
Damn, Chad's camera skipped out.
If you want to use it for more than one use, Reynolds wrap. If you want to do it every time where you have the visual of Aaron taking the foil and putting it around his head, Dollar Tree brand.
When did that happen? Didn't you guys do that for some nightcaps?
Yeah.
We did
Aaron's, yeah.
It's been a while.
We've done it a couple times.
Man, you've just been on the straight and narrow path these days. No conspiracy in your world. I like it.
Oh, I just don't talk about him on air.
Okay.
He learned after a couple times talking about him on air. Some things I probably shouldn't say.
Fair enough.
That opens up the door for me.
Yeah, there's that one mailbag where it was like, did we land on the moon? I was like, oh my god, we're about to open up a whole can of something here. All
we
right.
didn't, but
they've never landed on the moon.
Cashews.
I actually saw a TikTok on that the other day that was hilarious. Because
Kubrick?
there's video of the thing leaving the moon.
Yeah.
And the guy in the video was like, did they just leave the camera guy? They were just like, look, man, like,
see ya.
Sorry, like, we're out.
Oddly, he was there before it even landed as well.
Yeah,
weird.
He got there early and he left late. Yeah.
Anyway.
Didn't land on the moon.
Cashews or pecans? Cashews all day.
Honey roasted cashews all day.
Yeah, give me the cashews. But there's no such thing as a cashew pie.
I don't want to eat pecan pie.
I'd eat the shit out of a cashew pie.
Yeah.
F
I'll tell you
pecans.
that right now.
Yeah. I hop on.
You know
that.
what? Buc-ee's doesn't do their honey roasted cashews anymore. I heard, like they got discontinued, and that is heartbreaking.
Oh, baby.
Their honey roasted cashews were legit.
Bussin'.
Bussin'.
I've still never been there. Who had the best career meltdown? Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, or Bob Huggins? Apparently, Britney Spears was a runner-up for this question, but she did not make the cut.
Didn't Amanda Bynes like randomly a couple times just get caught like roaming the streets like butt-ass naked?
She is the worst of these three. I'm not sure she even knew what city she was in either.
She threw a bong off of like the 30th floor of a building.
Yeah.
A glass bong. That kills
good.
somebody if it lands on them.
It's a good idea.
Could you imagine standing there and looking up?
What a way to
And
go!
there's
You get hit by a bong just walking.
just
I'd be
walking
so
your dog.
mad.
You're in New York
I
City. You're
thought,
trying to get your
hey.
dog to take a shit in like one of those like tree little like
Yeah.
like there's a
Go
a
on the
2x2.
AstroTurf. Let it out.
Yeah, and you get hit in the head
it
with
would
the
just
fucking.
guys. It would just shatter, and it wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
You ever
Right?
been-
You've seen it in all those bar fights in the movies.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, it would probably be a lot
That's
less
That's sugar glass.
impactful. It's a lot less impactful than sticking your head into a fucking fan and having to go to the fucking emergency room at Children's Hospital.
Yes, that is a good point.
Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan's even managed to like come back. Like
She
I
bounced
feel like,
back, yeah.
She just had a
She
kid.
felt God.
Lohan just
Bob
had a
Huggins-
kid.
Bob Huggins is still the coach of West Virginia, so he says. So I don't know.
Well, and Bob Huggins is 70. Like he's been living this lie for 50 years. So,
He's still the coach of West Virginia. Just ask him.
Yeah, it's Amanda Bynes. Oof.
Or
That's the
she had
mailbag.
She had a potential Hall of Fame career ahead of her and threw it all away.
yeah, like She's the Man. That was a good movie back in the day.
She tossed it out a 30th story window.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to bring Britney Spears into this. That what's that? The Britney crew that they have.
There's apparently a conspiracy about her too, that she's not even the real Britney anymore because she used to smile and her teeth would show, her bottom teeth would show, and now when she smiles, her bottom teeth don't show, according to people who are breaking down all the videos. But I don't know what to believe with any of that. That's the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
You spend your time going down way too many rabbit holes, Aaron.
I blame the algorithm.
What do you think about the
Oh, God.
Titanic? Have you looked at
Get that Reynolds rap out. Yeah, Aaron, what's your thought?
It was a different ship that went down for insurance money.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's ready for tomorrow night.
Yeah, because who's that guy that wasn't on it? That was supposed to be on it.
The
Yeah,
Rothschild guy.
different combo for a different time.
I hope everybody's ready for tomorrow night.
With Dave.
Hell yeah.
And Pedro. Do you have a guess?
Dave has not sent anything to me about a guest. I don't know that I would want a guest to interfere with Club Canopy tomorrow night.
Dave is brave to do that. I would never do that.
The show tomorrow night's going to get banned from monetization in the first 2 minutes.
Probably.
Well, good.
You just need Tonk to pull up at like minute 1. drop the bag.
Well, Dave's in. Yeah,
this?
Dave's in Destin.
Do something crazy.
Here, let's hold on, Royer.
What you got?
The swim up bar at Dave's. I already know he's trying to show the swim up bar at Dave's resort.
Does
No,
the boy
it's
a
a house.
resort. It's a resort.
It's just a house.
No one builds a swim up bar at a house.
Here you go, Royer. This is Dave's vacation spot for his family this week.
Oh, I saw your tweet on that. I was like, where is that?
Destin.
Yeah, that looks sick.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Who hit the home run?
Reds win. Was it
the
Christian Encarnacion Strand, 3-run home run. Reds take an 8-7 lead.
No way. Did he really?
Bottom of the 5th. Long way to go in this one.
Christian Encarnacion strength. They put him in. Let's go. The boy.
The one time since the All-Star break, I didn't take an over at 11.5 runs scored in the game.
They're already
Yeah, it's
over.
8-7 in the bottom of the fifth.
I hate gambling.
You lost your ass this week, bro.
I
You
hate
guys
gambling.
heard the boy Michael Boston on the show? Does he ever tap in? I always see him on Twitter.
No.
What? What is the? Am I missing a story here?
No, it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah, get us out of here.
There's going to be
Get us
some
out of
good
here.
Dave Simone, Dave After Dark. Put a hat
I
on.
can see him on the damn.
Let's have
Twitter.
ourselves some party time. Is that tomorrow night? BCJ pod tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
All right. There we go. So back to back, baby. We call it back to back. So that'll be a lot of excitement, a lot of fun. Hopefully he doesn't pull in Amanda Bynes while in the pool and on the pod. That would be quite rough. A quick open and shut of the BCJ pod. But hey, you know, guys, it's fantastic past week. This upcoming TBT tournament on Friday. If they win, they play Saturday. So keep locked in on that. Of course, there's going to be plenty more leading up to the beginning of football. Football right around the corner. So stay locked in on BCJ. Anything else here? Or we get to shut out?
Nope.
We are.
Let's go.
All right. So for my guys, my pals, thank you for tuning into the special Tuesday edition. Shouts, of course, to Danco Transmission Auto Care. Shouts, of course, to Quick Paper Supply for their help as well. But for my guys, pals, Mr. Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, and Ryan Reuter, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.